Bonjour à tous, je m'appelle Tito, je fais des vidéos sur les finances personnelles sur mon autre chaîne, mais sur cette chaîne je parle d'autres choses, comme aujourd'hui où je vais revoir le film Ijakumo, The Born Again Stripper. After being betrayed and left for dead by her diabolical ex-boyfriend Jide, Asabi vows to get revenge, and she does so years later when Jide becomes a corrupt pastor of a huge church in Lagos, while also being a member of a cult-like organization and having extramarital affairs with various women. To bring him down, Asabi hires a stripper named Sharon to seduce Jide and to get vital data from him that's on a flash drive that she'll use to turn the cult against him and that will ultimately ruin him and expose him as a fraud. Ijakumo was one of Nollywood's highest grossing cinema films of 2022, and it's directed by Adebayo Tijani and produced by one of its stars, Toyin Abraham. Now let me start by saying that this Ijakumo review has to be the most requested review on this YouTube channel to date. I saw the movie in cinemas in December of 2022, but I chose not to review it. But that didn't stop you guys from entering my DMs on Twitter and Instagram and even entering the comment section of other reviews to request for the Ijakumo review. I must have received no less than 50 requests for this review. Why? I do not know, but it's finally here. I hope you guys are happy. Now, why I didn't do the review back then when I saw it was because in December of last year / January of this year, I was going through some personal issues and I wasn't ready to add internet trolls to, the mix of what I was going through at the time. Why internet trolls? Well, that'll become apparent to you as this review progresses, because I'm sure those of you who, you can put two and two together, you know what I mean. But for the rest of you, it will make sense the further along we go. Let's start by looking at les représentations in the film Ijakumo. Now, in the film, Kunle Remi plays Jide, this pastor of a mega church who also is in like some kind of cult or syndicate and who also has extramarital affairs. Asabi is his old flame from the past, played by Toyin Abraham. His wife's, I can't remember his wife's character's name, but she's played by Lilian Afegbai. His brother is played by Dike, and his brother's name was, I believe, Adewale. And his mistress's name was Sharon, and she had a twin sister called Mary. Those two characters were played by Lolade Okusanya, I believe her name was. If I'm wrong, the correct name will show on the screen. And then Bimbo Akintola was also in the film as the leader of, the Syndicate or whatever. Now, the performances in this film, I have to say, were very average. There really was nothing to write home about. And it was across board. It's not as if one actor did really well and then the other actors didn't, or, it was just everybody was like here. And it didn't give anything. And the dialogue in the film too was not inspiring. Now, to be honest, full disclosure, I'm doing this review based on my retentive memory of when I saw the movie back in December, but to jog my memory a bit, I read a few reviews online, and a common thread I saw in many of the reviews was how dissatisfied people were with the acting in this film. The acting was not, I want to say it was bad, but to be more diplomatic, I'll just say it once again, there was nothing to write home about regarding the acting in this film, which was a huge letdown, because there are some decent actors in the film and there could have been a lot they could have done with the characters, but the characters are poorly developed, the lines were nothing to write home about, pun intended, and the acting just gave nothing. Ce que j'ai aimé, what I liked about Ijakumo, bombastic side eye. What I liked about Ijakumo, you get out of here. What did you like about Ijakumo? Tell me in the comment section down below. Yes, tell me in the comments what I liked about Ijakumo, please. Moving on. Hi guys, are you catching fun? Are you doing things? As Kunle Remi would say. I'm interrupting this video very briefly to ask a very small favor of you guys. Please like this video by clicking on the like button and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. You doing those things would help me, my YouTube channel, and this video a great deal. So please like and subscribe. Thank you if you've done those things. Now let's head back to the review of Ijakumo. Ce que je n'ai pas aimé. What I didn't like about this film, where do I begin? Like I said earlier, I wasn't a fan of the acting in this film. I felt like it was quite flat. I also didn't like the story of this film. Essentially, it's a story about a woman scorned, right? In their younger years, her boyfriend jilts her, he leaves her for dead, her and her unborn child, and she's scorned, right? And she wants to get revenge, but she comes up with this long drawn plan to try and get back at him, hiring a stripper, and the stripper will try and get this thumb drive, and she'll use the thumb drive to make the syndicates that her ex is a part of lose all their money. He will now get in trouble with the syndicate and be on the run, and that's how she plans to make him suffer. It just felt like it wasn't giving. It didn't feel strong enough. It didn't feel long drawn out enough. He didn't suffer. This guy was sleeping with a stripper on the regular. He looked like he was having quite a good time before the jig was up at the end of the movie. So he wasn't particularly suffering. Think of Ben Affleck in Gone Girl and how his wife made that character go through hell for weeks before she showed up. That was suffering. This guy in this film, he didn't suffer too much. He was having the time of his life before the jig was ultimately up. So the story itself seemed very weak. Plus, she had superpowers or jazz or metaphysical powers or whatever. She could have easily dealt with him once and for all at any point in time. She could have gained access to him, told him what he did wrong, and just offed him like that with her powers. Why go through all of this? Because she wants to make him suffer. His suffering didn't last that long. So the story was very weak in my opinion. Moving on, the visual effects in this film, tacky in my opinion. There were a lot, but they were tacky. Yeah, it just was not working for me. The editing too in the film, the cuts, between scenes and transitions in many cases, and also when they're going from the present to the past with the flashbacks, many of those things just gave the editing a bad name, in my opinion. Yeah, if I can use that expression. What else didn't I like about this film? The product placement. There was a crypto business that was pushed in the movie, as well as a travel agency that was shoved in our faces in the film. A travel agency, mind you, that has been advertising a lot on YouTube these past few months. You've probably seen one of their adverts while watching this review. I don't know, those guys are really spending money on adverts. I don't know what the deal is, but the product placement in the movie, it wasn't tastefully done. Nobody's saying that Nollywood should not do product placement. We've seen it done in the past. Some have done it well, but most haven't. This was a case of another film not doing product placement in a tasteful, seamless way. It was so obvious and it was quite annoying. So there was that. The hair and makeup. Asabi's long dreads that went all the way down to the floor, and the way she kept on moving them around and walking funny, it was distracting. I don't know if they thought it was character development, but it was distracting and it was weird and it didn't give anything or do anything for the character or the movie. The makeup too, I wasn't feeling the makeup, even with the visual effects makeup in certain cases when there was blood or whatnot. The makeup was not giving. What else didn't I like about this film? The final act, that action sequence and all the fighting and all that, implausible, unrealistic, unnecessary. This film felt like it was just throwing different things at the wall, just hoping that something would stick with the audience. I mean, this film had, special effects and jazz and superhero type stuff. There was that. This film had martial arts in that final sequence, which was unnecessary. There was that. This film had gratuitous show of flesh and skin in it. And this is a separate point on its own, but I think they put it in there. Not that I know they put it in there so that it will appeal to the audience, because unfortunately Nigerian audiences like skin and they like flesh. So in order to, knowing that the film really lacked substance, they said, give them some flesh and some grinding and some humping and some twerking to appease them. So there was that. What else did this film have? This film attempted to have a bit of comedy. A skit maker, I Am Remote, I really like him. I follow him on Instagram. He was in the movie as well to provide some laughs. So this film just tried to be a mixed bag of so many things, and at the end of the day, it didn't seem to achieve any one thing. But I think their thinking was just take whatever you can grab and run with that and enjoy that, and base your enjoyment or your utility of the movie based on whatever it is that you enjoyed from it, be it the gratuitous show of skin or the special effects or the poor fight scene choreography or the lame jokes. Whew. I also didn't like how Ijakumo negatively portrayed the Christian faith with some of those church scenes and Christian references. Of course, stories of false prophets and fake men and women of God abound with different faiths, but it seems like filmmakers in Nollywood keep taking certain liberties with Christianity in ways that they dare not try with some other religions, and that doesn't seem fair at all. Another thing I really didn't like about this film, and something that really confused me about it as well, was the fact that this film didn't seem to have a clear protagonist. All the main characters were morally bankrupt. Jide was a lying, cheating fraud, deceiving and misleading God's children. Sharon was a woman who sold her body and willingly allowed herself to be part of a scheme to destroy someone's life just because of money. And Asabi was pretty much a member of the realm of darkness, using her powers to wreak havoc. Her losing a child and being betrayed by Jide in previous years, and her also trying to provide financial support to victims of abuse, all those things didn't really endear the audience towards her or make us root for her. Not to mention, she didn't even do most of her dirty work. Most of her dirty work was done by Sharon. Qui devrait le voir? The people that should see Ijakumo, honestly, at the end of the day, are Toyin Abraham fans, or people that enjoy Toyin Abraham's movies, or people that understand what happens in Toyin Abraham's films. But if you fall into any of those categories, chances are you've already seen the film, so there's no point me recommending the movie to you. Also, if you've seen the movie and you're watching this review, maybe you're upset by the things I've said thus far in this review. That's understandable, but if you're going to leave a comment in the comment section down below, please be nice. Don't be a troll down in the comments. We don't do that around here, okay? You're entitled to your opinion, but you don't need to be nasty about it. All right? So God bless you as you comply. In conclusion, I hope Osazi Godaro got paid for them using her picture in that early scene of the film where they're looking for a stripper to hire to send to Pastor Jide. Did you see her in the movie? That I was shocked by that, but I really hope Osas got paid. If not, there should be legal action being taken there. I was also surprised that the governor of Lagos State watched this movie at the premiere. He was invited for the premiere back in December, and when I was watching the gratuitous scenes with the flesh and the twerking and the love scenes and all that, I was like, the governor of Lagos State sat to watch this stuff? Damn. So that was a bit of a shock. At the end of the day, I'm not the target audience for this movie. That much I know. Who the target audience of this film is, or who the profile of, the kind of person that enjoys this film is, I'm not too sure. I know Toyin Abraham is a smart businesswoman with a large following, but I really would like to know what they look for when they see a film that made them enjoy a film like Ijakumo. It really does baffle me. But yeah, it's really fascinating. At the end of the day, I think that this film just capitalized on, church scandals. When, you hear that a man of God, or a so-called man of God, is committing adultery or sleeping around. You see those types of things on blogs, from time to time, particularly on the African continent or in third world countries. So I think this film just capitalized on that scandal, which people tend to like, or to, like reading about or hearing about. And it also capitalized on, the flesh and skin in a gratuitous manner, honestly, because yes, it's about a stripper or a pastor who's, seduced by a stripper and all that, but it didn't need to be as raunchy and as gritty as it needed to be. And it felt like a lot of the skin and flesh and sensual elements were unnecessary, or just, done in a not so tasteful way, just for, I don't know, to attract eyeballs. I don't know. I'm not really capturing my thought on the issue, but I think you understand what I mean. Yeah, without a doubt, Ijakumo was one of the least enjoyable movies, Nollywood movies, that I saw in 2022. It would have made it to my worst Nollywood films, of my top 10 worst of 2022, to be honest. But the problem is, I had already filmed that video before, Ijakumo came out on like December 23rd. So, the ship had sailed. A few people had reached out to me and said, why isn't Ijakumo on your top 10 worst of 2022? You need to do another video to add, Ijakumo to that list. Honestly, Ijakumo should have been on that list. I just didn't think Ijakumo would be the letdown that it ended up being. So much so that that film, if I could turn back the hands of time now, Ijakumo would have been in my top 3 worst of 2022. Anyway, I hope you guys are happy. I've finally done the Ijakumo review. Time to rate it. I rate Ijakumo, the born again stripper, 0.5 plates of jollof out of 5. So half a plate of jollof for Ijakumo. Yeah, my lowest rating to date. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, or even if you didn't, please like it by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews, I also talk about relationships, and I have a podcast coming out soon. To check any of those out, please click the card in the corner of the screen, and also check the description box down below for links to some of the relationship videos or the podcast episodes. The podcast isn't out yet, but it will be very soon. Thank you guys once again for watching. Feel free to leave me a comment down below about what you thought about Ijakumo. Did you like it? Did you hate it? If you are a Toyin Abraham fan, please be nice in the comment section. Once again, there's no need to be a troll or to be nasty. You can express your views without being a dick. Thank you guys so much for thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace, love, and happiness too. Oh my goodness, what an end.